Hey friends, welcome to or back to my channel. My name is Shea and this is going to be part 2 of my how to start vlogging video. If you haven't seen part 1, I highly recommend that you go watch part 1. It's all about getting your equipment, getting set up, and learning the best ways to start vlogging if you're a beginner and you've never done this before. This video is going to be about how to edit in Adobe Premiere. I personally use Adobe Premiere to edit, and I've been using it for over a year now, and I think that I have some good tips and tricks to tell you guys of how to create a good workflow and how to edit your videos nice and quick. So today I'm going to take you through my whole workflow of how I import my footage, start editing it, and then how to export it. So if you're interested and you want to know, this is going to be for beginners, like never opened Adobe Premiere before. It's very overwhelming when you first open it, so hopefully this helps, and I will go through everything step by step. Make sure you keep watching. So this is what Premiere looks like when you open it up. If you've never used it before, obviously you won't have all these different projects already open, but you can just go to New Project. It has all these different settings. I normally don't do anything with them. Honestly, don't know exactly what they mean, but basically you can just do you know, whatever you're gonna title it. Choose your location. I edit off of a hard drive because it's better if you are gonna vlog and you have so many different videos. It's gonna be overwhelming to have all these different clips, and then honestly it can, like, my computer hard drive died, so that's why I got this external hard drive and I edit off of there. So I usually will just save it in there and then hit OK. This is kind of how it looks when you open it up, and it is scary because the first time I opened it up I had no idea what everything meant. I'm not sure honestly which tab it will open up to when you first, maybe it opens up to learning, and I think that's, I don't know what's happening here. So for me, I first start off here in assembly because that is kind of the easiest place to import your clips and then easily assemble them into your timeline. So over here is where you're going to have all of your media. See where it says import media to start? Right here is your timeline, which is where you're going to visually see your clips and your audio all together. You'll be doing a lot there, just like scrolling through and seeing how it looks all laid out. And then right here, your source and your program monitor is where you will actually see your clips to preview them and watch like the preview of your video. So first what I do is I highlight this box, and then you can hit Command I on your keyboard, or you can also, if you're not into keyboard shortcuts, you go into File, Import. Keyboard shortcuts are great though, and I will continue to use those. Let's go to my study abroad vlogs. Let's go to Venice. Normally later on I've separated my vlogs out into folders, so when I import the footage I actually will be like folder for day 1, day 2, and that makes it a lot easier. So the more organized you are, the better. I was not here clearly, but anyways, I'm just going to hit Command A to get all these clips and then hit import. It takes a while sometimes. So now we have all of our footage right here. This really is a lot. Okay, so you have it all selected. What I like to do is I go down here with the sort icons and just sort it by name, because usually that's going to be in the chronological order of when you shot the footage. And obviously if you're vlogging you want most everything to be in chronological order, unless just B-roll or like landscape shots. So you can see here, like my first clip, this is breakfast, and then my sister and I went out and started exploring. So select all of them by pressing Command A, and then just drag it all into the timeline down here. Click and drag, let it go, and now you can see all of this crazy footage is in the timeline. I think I'm just going to get rid of some of it because we don't need to go through all of this because I've already edited this entire vlog. So let's just work with this as an example. Now that you have your footage in here, see this is where the preview is at the top, and then you can hit the space bar to play it. That's my sister. So what I usually do to start off with is scroll through by pressing the space bar, and let's say stop. Let's say I don't want the first part of the food, which I do, but let's say I didn't. I have my what is that called? I have this little, what is that? I don't even know what to call that. The little pin here. Let's say I want the video to start here on my little coffee. So I have my little pin here, and I can press Q on my keyboard to get rid of everything before that point. If I ever want to undo something, I just press Command Z to undo that. So let's say I want it to end here. I can press W and it gets rid of everything after the point of the pin. I'm just going to undo that. So that's what I mean. I usually scrub through this footage, and then, you know, I can get rid of that before, and then I have just this little scene of my food. Next one, scrubbing through. Let's say I'm like, this is a little long, I don't need that. I can press W to get rid of the rest, but I kind of pan over here to see Carly. That's kind of nice. So if I want to get rid of something in the middle, I can scroll to where I want to get rid of something. Let's say I want to stop here. Then what I can do is either go to this little razor tool over here, or I can just press C on my keyboard to bring it up, and then I click. You don't have to click on the pin, you can click wherever, and it'll cut it. And then what I do is I just like keep playing it until I know I want to cut. Then I can cut it again. There's different ways of doing this, but then if I want to get rid of the razor tool, you can either click here again, or you can just press V on your keyboard, select that part, get rid of it, select that, delete, and then you have this, and it goes just into the next part where you see her walking out to the water. Cool. Also, if you're going through footage and taking too long, it's too slow, what you can do is let it play and press the L key to go faster, or if you want to go backwards, you press the J. If you want to stop, K. There's so many different keyboard tools and tricks and commands that I definitely would recommend figuring those out, because it has helped me speed up my editing process so much. Okay, so another useful tip is when you are going through editing these clips, let's say from this scene to this next one you want some sort of transition, which we'll go over in a little bit, but you don't want to forget about it while you're in this assembly stage. You can just hit M on your keyboard and it makes this little marker right here, so that way I do that as like, that's a reminder that I want to come back to something, whether it's putting in text or putting in some sort of transition. That way I just remember I want to come back to it, because in this assembly tab I usually just am cutting the scenes that I want, and then I'll go into effects and text and other editing later on. Okay, so let's say I'm done going through my clips. I have what I want. Then what I usually do is I move over up here to this editing tab, and it'll switch your screen. Don't freak out, everything's still there, it's just a different layout because it's easier for editing and the stuff that I'm about to show you. So let's go back over here. Actually, let's start at the beginning. So let's say for most vlogs you want to say day 1, Monday, where you are, whatever it may be. So you are going to go down here, this little text type tool. Now you can either press T, or you can just click on this T down here, and the way you know it works is if you have that little cursor up here and you click wherever you want the text to be. So let's say I start down here and I want to write Monday, maybe the time or whatever. Let's keep it basic for now. Now, you're probably going to want to edit how this text looks. So what you do is you go over to this window over here, Effect Controls, and then this all pops up. Scary. Scroll down to right here where it says Text Monday, because that's going to be all your editing tools for your text. You might notice that if you change things right now, nothing will change, and it's because you have to go select your text in order to make those changes. So you have all these different fonts you can choose from. Let's say you want to make it, I was going to do Comic Sans, but I'm not going to troll you like that. Let's do this one. That's nice, classy. Let's say you want to make it really big. Also what you can do is some cool stuff here is change the spacing between the letters, make it bold, italic, whatever it may be. If you want to change the color, keep scrolling, choose your color, red, random, but you can also add a shadow, which is helpful if you are putting text over something that makes it really hard to see. So when you're done with that, you can just play the clip again. Same kind of thing with modifying this clip. You can use your Q and W keys, or you can just also drag, and it'll kind of, like you can see, it kind of catches on to the end of the clip, so it knows when you want to stop that. Yeah, cool. That's adding text for you. Let's just go back to our select tool so we don't add any more text where we don't want it to be. Let's say you want to move around the text. See, now that we have this arrow tool, you can move it. Maybe you decide, oh no, I want it in the middle of the screen. You can do that. And you also can make it bigger by dragging. Now let's move back over here to where our marker is, where we want to add that transition. Now what you're going to want to focus on is going over back up here to the top, and now you're going to move over to your Effects tab. Again, another screen. Don't freak out. So now that we are in this Effects tab, it looks pretty much the same as the Editing tab, except now you have this little Effects window over here, and there are so many different things that you can do. I recommend just going through and kind of experimenting with them, because that's how I learned. But right now what we're going to focus on is the Video Transitions tab. So now we have even more options of all these different transitions that we have. A lot of times I will use the dissolve transition, so a fade to black, fade to white, cross dissolve, where one clip kind of dissolves into the other one. Let's say for this we want one of those, so that's what I would call a cross dissolve. That goes in there, you put them in between clips, press spacebar to preview it. Okay, like that. Maybe if you want it longer or shorter, you get this little icon down here and you can pull it to be longer or shorter. That kind of stuff. Choose where you like it. Watch it again. Okay, maybe a little too fast, but whatever you like. Let's say I'll show you the fade to black if you want to try that one. That's a fade to black. There's also fade to white. There is also, if you want to try something different, there's zoom, little cross zoom. I usually like when it's faster for a cross zoom because it looks kind of weird if it's not. But I use that a lot for intros or something where it's like very high energy. There's a lot of music playing because that looks pretty cool. There's also these little slides or these wipes. I think I usually do the push slide. That's for, like, let's say I have a vlog and it's later in the day or something and I do a little whoosh sound effect and it kind of pushes over like that. Also, I was just about to do it because it's a habit. I am saving my project all the time. Like every time, most of the time whenever I put a new effect in or anything, I hit Command S and you get this little window, Save Project. Sometimes Adobe does it for you every once in a while, which is really helpful. Those are the basic effects that you will need. Different transitions, text, all that fun stuff. There is some color correction options within the Lumetri color, Lumetri presets, but I'm not going to go into that because that's a little confusing right now for beginners. So now, obviously, if you have a vlog, you are probably going to want to put in music. So again, if you want to import your music, press Command I to import. I get my music off of SoundCloud. I have this little plugin I think that can just download music, but again, I only download royalty-free music. Some of my music in here is just for me that's not royalty-free. But SoundCloud has a lot of really great royalty-free music. You can also download from YouTube. And yeah, you just want to make sure, because you don't want to get any marks on your channel. You can see I have some interesting sound effects in here. But usually I use this Streams one is popular among vloggers, so let's import that. Okay. I don't know if I have my volume on. Oh, I do. So let's say we listen to this song, press, oh, you see this scary looking audio map right here. It's just the same as a video, but obviously there's no visual to this audio, so you press spacebar. Okay, that's cute. We like that. It's perfect for Carly walking along the water. Now what you're going to want to do is when you select this part, you can press the I and it'll light up because this is your in point. Then when you scroll along, maybe you want it up until here. You press O for your out point. This might seem confusing, but it makes things a lot easier so you don't have to drag the whole audio file into your video. Then what you can do is you just grab this little squiggly thing here that kind of, you know, says drag audio only and looks kind of like this map here. Let's say I click and drag it. You can paste it wherever. I want it to start at the beginning of this clip. Let it go. Now it's in there. The only problem is we still have this blue audio from our original video.
Look out. Come back.
Now my voice is also playing. So what you want to do is highlight this clip, press Control click, scroll, 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 unlink the video. That will separate the audio from the video. So that way what you can do is click here on the audio, press delete, and it's gone. You can leave it down here or you can drag it up to where the audio was. Now, cute. If you want to do some editing on the audio itself, usually what I do to make the transition sound more normal is I go right here when I have this little red arrow icon, I press Control and then click and I choose Apply Default Transitions, and it'll give you this constant power, which makes, it's kind of like a fade in. You can do a fade in, but it makes the audio sound a little bit more natural from the next clip. And then I usually also do that at the end, just so there's like a nice fade out. You can play around with that, but that's how to insert audio. So now that you have your video, which is done, you're good with it, you're set, you've done all your music, transitions, different effects, what you want to do is, I don't know if you have to select all of it, but I usually do. You probably don't, but I just hit Command A to select all my clips. Then I go up to here, click File, scroll down to Export Media. Then you are going to get this window that pops up with a little preview of your video. Now, this took me forever to figure out, and I exported my first vlog I think like 15 times and it was not uploading correctly to YouTube. But I figured out the exact settings that you need. So this will be helpful for you because people don't realize that it is hard to figure out what settings you need to use for YouTube. So what you have to use is the format is going to be in H.264, but what you want to scroll down to is YouTube 1080p Full HD. You'll probably want to change the name and choose where you want to save it. Save. I usually don't mess around with this other stuff, and it's fine. And then what you're going to want to do is just click Export. It'll render the audio previews and give you this time estimate of how long it's going to take based off of your video. I'm just going to cancel that so I don't export that. So that is it for the tutorial. I hope that it was helpful. I know it's really overwhelming when you first open Adobe Premiere and it's really scary looking and you have no idea where to start. So I hope that I went through nice and slow and made sure I didn't skip out on anything that you wouldn't know how to do. If you want more tutorials, definitely give this a thumbs up and let me know in the comments below what kind of tutorials you'd like to see. Again, I always use Adobe Premiere, but I can also do a video on iMovie because I know a lot of people start out with iMovie. Now, my advice is to just kind of experiment with Premiere, start adding new traditions, start experimenting with color correction, just kind of explore the different things that Adobe Premiere has. That's kind of how I figured out how to do a lot of this. Also, YouTube is a great resource for learning how to use Premiere. If I ever want to learn how to do something, I'll just search it in YouTube. I think I will also do some different types of videos, so if you all like my style of how I teach these different tutorials, stay tuned because I will do a bunch of shorter videos of how to do basic editing techniques. Also, if there's something you want to learn how to do, let me know in the comments. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you want to see more of my videos. See you later. Thanks for watching. Bye.